Hey friends, quick heads up for this episode of Book for Two. The last third of this video, it decided to betray us. Glitched out really bad. However, the audio is totally fine. So what we're going to do is we are going to have the audio file played right after the video. So if you're willing to stick around, it's absolutely hilarious. You will love it. And things do get spicy. And now on to our episode. Welcome, our bookish crew to Book for Two, where a married couple deep dives into your favorite fantasy books. I'm Scott.
And I'm Genevieve. If you're new here, welcome to our brand of chaos.
We bring the male and female perspectives, the wild theories, the heated debates, and of course,
the couples banter you never knew you needed, but now you can't escape.
She likes her books full of morally great characters, spice, and enough romantasy to make a fey male brood for centuries.
And he likes his full of epic fantasy, sci-fi, and deep, emotional character arcs that ruin his life for days.
And somehow we make it work. But today we are diving into something a bit different.
That's right. We've officially enrolled in Basgiath War College and tamed our dragons, figuratively speaking, of course. It took us a minute, but we're here. We debated whether to take the Empyrean series after finishing Throne of Glass, but decided to stick with SJM Universe and dive into Crescent City next.
So to kick off a new monthly segment, we're starting with Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros herself.
Since we can only dissect so many chapters a week in our deep dives, we needed more bookish adventures to keep us going.
Enter our side quests. We'll pick a book series to read together, and once we're done, we'll discuss it here.
We'll start with a spoiler-free section for those on the fence about the book.
Then we'll dive into spoilers, world building, lore, characters, writing style, all of it.
We'll also share our ratings and whether we'd recommend it, both spoiler-free and spoiler-filled.
And finally, we'll chat about what we hope to see next from the series or the author.
Oh, and because we couldn't cover Fourth Wing without making things a little extra, we're throwing in a new game today.
Yes, we're calling it Signet Roulette because just like the cadets at Basgiath, you do not get to choose your dragon power. We'll each randomly generate a signet ability and figure out how we'd survive at the War College or how fast we'd absolutely be wrecked.
Some of these signets are going to be insanely overpowered, and some are going to be total trash tier.
So, who's ready to get God tier ability and who's about to be the human equivalent of a magic trick gone wrong? Stick around, we are about to find out.
All that to say, are we professional book critics?
Nope.
Are we qualified?
Debatable.
But are we going to give you a completely honest, no BS review with our unfiltered opinions?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
We're just two book lovers who read, rant, and sometimes regret our life choices. So if you want the good, the bad, and the why did we do this to ourselves moments, you're in the right place.
And as always, we must do our shameless plug because without it, we won't be able to reach other wonderful people in our book lovers community. So please be sure to subscribe, follow, and review our show on your favorite podcast platform. Your support means everything to us.
Make sure you're following us on social media for behind-the-scenes content, sneak peeks, and updates. Plus, every Sunday, we'll post the chapters we're covering in the next episode so you can read along with us.
And don't forget, we have a Discord. Want to scream about plot twists in real time, theories, unhinged book rants at 2 a.m. We got a space for that. Join our growing bookish chaos crew by grabbing the link from our socials or in the episode description below. Come hang out. We promise it's fun, and you won't be judged for your fictional crushes.
We also want you to get to know us. So join us every Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Central for a live Q&A on our YouTube and TikTok profiles. This week's question: which book character would we call to help hide a body? Spoiler, one of us has a very practical choice, and the other is just here for the drama.
Oh, and stickers and bookmarks are available whether you want to deck out your water bottle, Kindle, laptop, or just pretend to be organized with a cute bookmark. We've got you covered. You can get them at bookfor2.com or through the link in our socials.
And before we dive in, this episode contains spoilers for Fourth Wing. So if you're not caught up, consider this your official warning.
Also, fair heads up, this is an adult content show. We swear we talk about murder, morally questionable characters, and let's be real, there's a very good chance we are going to discuss some spicy scenes in graphic detail.
So if you're looking for a wholesome book club experience, that's adorable, but you might be in the wrong place.
And now it's time to dive into Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros.
So let's turn the page.
Before we unleash the full spoiler-filled chaos, we're kicking things off with a spoiler-free discussion. So if you have not read Fourth Wing yet and want to know if it's worth the hype, stick around. We're going to break it all down for you and let you know our thoughts.
And if you have read it and you're just here for the screaming, don't worry, we'll get to that soon. Check the timestamps in the episode description if you want to skip straight to the chaos. But for now, let's talk about why this book has taken over the entire internet. Seriously, I can't open social media without tripping over fan art, conspiracy theories, and at least 5 people declaring their undying love for a fictional dragon. So, let's set the stage. Fourth Wing follows Violet Sorengale, a first-year cadet at Basgiath. Basgiath? I think it's Basgiath.
It's somewhere around.
Somewhere.
We'll figure it out. We're not too worried about the saying, so I know we're going to say some of these names incorrectly. Please forgive us.
Apologies in advance.
Yes.
All right, so she is a first-year cadet at Basgiath War College, which is basically the deadliest school you can imagine, where your first lesson is survival and your final exam is you're basically still alive. So good job. Violet isn't even supposed to be there, though. She was meant for the scribe quadrant, buried in books, not dodging death on the daily. But thanks to her extremely intense mother, General Sorengale, she's now fighting for her life among the elite dragon riders.
And it's not just the training that's trying to kill her. There are people at this school who want her dead because of who her mom is.
Ooh, exactly. As if that wasn't enough, riders don't just get to waltz in and claim a dragon. Oh, no. You have to earn their respect. And if they don't like you, let's just say dragons believe you are crunchy and might taste good with ketchup. Meanwhile, there are secrets, big, deadly ones, lurking not just in Basgiath, but across the entire continent. The book leans heavily into fantasy, but also gets into that enemies to lovers tension that'll keep you flipping pages like your life depends on it.
This book does not waste time. The pacing is a pure adrenaline rush. Once you start, you're in. 1 second, you're stepping on the campus, and the next, it's hope you survive because most of you won't. And if you love a book that keeps you wired at 2 a.m. with just one more chapter syndrome, Fourth Wing delivers. Trust me.
Oh, absolutely. And the banter, chef's kiss. The dialogue in this book is on point. Violet is razor sharp. Xaden is the human embodiment of smirk. And their interactions, it's like watching 2 Marvel characters flirting and threatening each other at the same time.
And it's not just them. The side characters bring so much life, whether it's friendships, rivalries, or just casual murder threats. The book nails that mix of danger and humor. It's, yes, we could die at any moment, but let's make it fun. Riddick.
If Basgiath, oh man, I'm going to mess this up every time, had a ranking system, you'd have 1, the terrifyingly competent ones who make survival look easy. Number 2, the ones running purely on spite and adrenaline. Okay. And 3, the background extras who exist solely to get yeeted into the afterlife.
Poor Dylan.
I know. Honestly, I'd probably be dead in chapter 2. I'd like to think I'd go out with style, probably yelling something sarcastic on my way down.
Okay, beyond the action, Fourth Wing actually has some solid themes. There's survival. Obviously, it's a war college where death is basically the final exam, but it's also about resilience, about pushing past limits you didn't even think you could handle. And the found family aspect is very well done. Sometimes the people who have your back aren't the ones you're born with.
Ooh, for sure. And the writing, it's smart. Rebecca Yarros doesn't waste space, so there's no 5-page descriptions of medieval feast, Stephen King. No side quests about the history of Navarre's rock formations or something like that. She keeps it direct and fast, which is exactly what a book this intense needs.
Agreed. Though I will say some of the modern phrases did throw me off. There were moments where I had to pause and ask, did Violet just step out of a group chat? Because honestly, it makes the book more fun. This isn't Lord of the Rings. It's the fantasy equivalent of an Avengers movie. High action, quippy dialogue, the emotions that sucker punch you when you least expect it. Okay, look, there's a reason why this book is everywhere. Millennials in particular have been devouring it, and honestly, it tracks. We grew up on Harry Potter. We now have graduated to what if Harry was Harrietta, graduated Hogwarts, went to college, joined Slytherin, and rode dragons, and maybe a writer or two. Y'all went from wanting to date Gryffindor to wanting to fuck Slytherin.
Listen, I don't know what makes you think I didn't always want to fuck Slytherin.
But it's genius. She appealed to the Harry Potter generation.
It was absolute genius. This book is like the Taylor Swift Eras Tour of fantasy novels. If you're not reading it, you're at least hearing about it nonstop everywhere you go. You can't get away from it. It's for a good reason, though. If you want Hunger Games meets How to Train Your Dragon with a side of A Court of Thorns and Roses, this book is your new obsession.
But fair warning, if you pick this book up before bed, I'll see you at sunrise. You will be sleep deprived and you won't regret it.
And a side note, I fully understand why Zayden Ryerson has single-handedly retired so many other book boyfriends. The man didn't just raise the bar, he set it on fire and rode off with it on a dragon.
That's true. All right, that wraps up our spoiler-free discussion. If this convinced you to read Fourth Wing, pause here, grab the book, then come back when you're ready to scream about it with us.
Because up next, we are diving straight into spoilers. And trust me, you don't want to hear those by accident. Last warning, if you're still in spoiler-free mode, skip ahead now.
All right, you've been warned. Let's get into it.
All right, y'all. This is your official spoiler warning. We are about to dive into all of the plot twists, the heartbreaks, the betrayals, and dragons doing dragon things.
If you haven't finished Fourth Wing and don't want your soul shattered prematurely, skip ahead to the spoiler-free rating. You have been warned.
Okay, we're starting in 3, 2...
Everyone dies. I'm kidding. It was a test. Did your heart stop? Good. That means you need to go.
Seriously, this is your last chance. Flee now or forever hold your spoiled peace.
Okay, now 3, 2, 1.
And now for real, let's ruin your life. All right, first let's talk characters. Because this book
Okay.
gave us some absolute gems and some walking red flags. And Scott, I know you already have many thoughts. So let's go.
Oh, I do. Let's start with Violet Soaringale, our resident chronically ill bookworm turned dragon rider. She's got that classic fish out of water thing going on, where she's thrown into a world that should absolutely chew her up and spit her out. But instead, she outsmarts, outlasts, and outsurvives nearly everyone. She was supposed to be a first aid parapet roadkill. Again, R.I.P. Dylan. And now she's one of the most dangerous cadets in Basgiath. Love that for her.
Yes, she's so fucking smart. And I love that her survival isn't just, oh, surprise, she was actually OP this whole time. No, she's just strategic as hell, which I absolutely love. She uses her brain over brawn. And that's exactly what I would have to do because I'd last about 5 seconds in the rider's quadrant before tripping over some foul air and dying.
Yeah, I can see that. So let's talk about Zayden Ryerson.
Ryerson? I have no idea.
Ryerson, probably Ryerson. Anyway, again, we are doing this for fun, messing up the names. We will look and see how to pronounce them correctly, but we do this for fun. Now, this guy, this smug, broody, apparently, lethal motherfucker, he's got that perfect balance of danger and charm, enough edge to make him interesting, but not so much that he's a walking Batman brooding voice, my trauma defines me. Stereotype.
All right, hold up. Side quest activated.
All right.
So let's talk about brooding Zayden. I feel like he's super brooding. I feel like he's always in the shadows. He's the brooding shadow daddy. So I totally feel the Batman brooding, my trauma defines me vibe from him.
See, I didn't get that from him at all. There was a couple times where she wrote, he's brooding, just because you put the word in there. What is he brooding from?
Brooding from? He's got all of those marks on him for taking on everyone's...
He didn't seem to be brooding. It seemed like he was the leader of their wing, while also being a third year and dealing with third year shit, like across Navarre, and also having to fight for the person who murdered your dad and all that junk and tattooed you and could have murdered you as well.
I feel like this is gonna have to go out to BookTok. If
What's that?
Xaden is brooding or not.
He's not
Yes,
brooding.
he is.
Brooding to me is just being like, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna sit here and pout. To
No.
me, brooding it to me is pouting. For me, he was taking action, and then he was like, "Yeah, I liked you all along, Violet, the whole time. I was never mad at you or never wanted to kill you."
Maybe that's my problem. What does brooding mean?
Right? What is everyone's definition of brooding? I think everyone has a
Appearing
different
darkly
definition.
or menacing. That's how.
When was he ever? He was. But it says that he was. It says
gonna win this.
I am going to win this one. Just because he's dark and sexy looking doesn't make him brooding. Any asshole can be brooding. Tamlin at one point was brooding, and he's a freaking
You
Aryan.
don't think that he appeared dark or menacing to all of those people?
No, Violet was told he was dark and menacing and wanted to kill her. He never came out and actually wanted to kill her. He said he liked her the whole time. There was never a point where he was acting weird towards her. And isn't this from Violet's point of view anyway? So, of course, you're going to get her point of view and not Xaden's point of view. We didn't get Xaden's point of view until the special chapters
That's
later.
True.
And he didn't seem to be brooding in those chapters. Oh, my God.
Okay. This one's definitely going out to BookTok.
He's not brooding.
Yes. I'm gonna define brooding
Look.
as the appearing darkly and menacing. So that is how I am defining brooding, and I think that he is that.
Now, I'm not saying he didn't brood at all, but everyone acts like he is the epitome of brooding. If you put anyone's picture in the dictionary, for some reason everyone says, "Oh, Xaden." I just don't think he was brooding that much. He was upset with his predicament that he's in because he's working for the assholes that supposedly murdered his like father and all that shit. So, understandably, he would brood and be upset. If I had to work for the people who murdered my family, I would be upset, but that's not brooding. That's just being legitimately butthurt that you're in that
But he's
situation.
dark and menacing about it.
So if he was a ginger and pale, he wouldn't be brooding? So just because he's got dark skin, dark hair, and tattoos and shit, he's automatically brooding? But if it's like some ginger with freckles and pale skin and glasses, you're just like, oh, he's just upset.
Would you consider anyone in this book to be brooding then?
Dane's an asshole. I wouldn't say he's brooding, but he's a prick. No, okay, oh my gosh. I just don't get the whole brooding thing. It makes no goddamn sense to me. Like, it's just it's so confusing.
You just started
it makes no sense.
Quicksilver.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying, brooding is he's just an asshole to be an asshole. Like, he's just being a dark, mysterious prick just to be one.
It's just dark and mysterious. It's being reserved.
Anybody can be dark and mysterious.
Menacing. Yeah. I'm trying to think about Throne of Glass. Who could be brooding?
Kale broods a lot. Kale is like a hardcore. Now, Kale broods. Because now brooding to me is, okay, if you want to take... Let's take Throne of Glass. Throne of Glass is perfect when it comes to brooding. Let me finish. Okay. To me, this is what brooding is. Kale's the epitome of brooding. In the first Throne of Glass book, when he was watching Dorian dance with Selena at the... Sorry if we're spoiling Throne of Glass for anyone that hasn't read this. My bad. However, that's what we're deep diving in, so that's what we know. So Kale is brooding because he wants to be with Selena. So to me, that's brooding because you want to be with someone, but you can't have them. To me, that's brooding. Like, they're brooding because they want to be with that person, but feel like they can't have them. And at no point did I feel like Xaden was at that point to where he never felt like he couldn't have Violet.
Are you ready for this?
I'm
the
ready.
Other definition for brooding is showing deep unhappiness of thought. So yes, Kale is brooding as well. However, the other definition of brooding, appearing darkly and menacing, is the definition of Xaden. So they can both be brooding in their own way. He has that menacing quality about him. Nobody is fucking with Xaden.
So time out.
Nobody's
fucking
with Xaden. Are they?
So what you're saying is brooding is just another name for sexy depression. That's what you're saying. Brooding is sexy depression. So we are now in love with the goth people, is what you're telling me.
That's
Which makes
Shadow
sense.
Daddies. Oh my God.
Okay,
yes.
got it. Okay, I figured it out. I forgot that we have graduated to liking
dark Hallmark.
The goth people now. The dark Hallmark. There you go. So brooding, got it. So it's sexy depression.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Would you call that side quest complete? So in case you guys haven't noticed, during these episodes, because I'll be honest with you guys, it's a lot to remember when we're reading so many books. So we take notes and we do read from a script. When we're describing these characters and stuff, we are reading from a script, but these are our words just so we can remember what to say. But when we say side quests, this is because we're like, hold up, I need to say something about what you are saying. So that's why we went into this. And when we say side quest complete, that means we're just going back into what we've said. So just in case there's any confusion from here on out when we do these type of episodes, because we side quests all the time or tinfoil hat theory all the time in our normal deep dives. Here, we're just going to call it side questing.
I think we'll take side questing onto the other one, too, because not everything's a tinfoil hat. Sometimes we go on side quests. So I really like this.
That is very true. I did, side quests and tinfoil hats. Write it down. All right. So, side quest complete.
Side quest complete. Back to our regularly scheduled thirst session. All right. So, you're right, though. He's not just hot because he's the male lead. He's hot because he's layered like an onion or a parfait. Shrek reference. Calculated. He's dangerous. But he's also devoted in a way that's honestly terrifying if you're on the wrong side of it. He feels real, like you could argue with him about strategy and then awkwardly hold eye contact for too long.
Side quest. I feel like what you just described is brooding.
Yes.
He's hot because he's layered.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Did we need to talk about brooding after this paragraph? Is that what it was?
No. I just thought it's funny. Oh, man. Sexy depression. That's what it is. Brooding is literally sexy depression. It's like, all right, he's sexy, but he's depressed. And I need to fix him. That's what it is. That's the trope. You got to fix him.
So both Elm and Raven.
Sexy depression. Elm more than Raven. We're talking about the Shepherd King. We are getting way offhand here. Okay, so side quest complete. All right, and we're still on Xaden, which I talked about before. The man does have some real trauma. He watched his father get executed by the same people he's now forced to serve, hence the brooding. The man has every reason to hate Navarre, and yet he still plays the game, biding his time, moving his pieces, waiting, which makes him infinitely more compelling than some of these sad interest loves we've seen before. So I can see why he's in the top tier of boyfriends, which I can't believe I just said. What have you done to me?
I love this for you. Okay, so you finally embraced the book boyfriend life. I love that. The next thing you know.
I have.
Next thing, you'll be debating fan art accuracy. I can see it now. Ranking fictional men. That's a damn Call of Duty leaderboard. That's not right. That looks better. And honestly, I think Xaden might take the top spot.
All right. Enough about brooding. Let's talk assholes.
Okay.
And we're speaking of assholes, the biggest one, Dane Atos, or Atos, probably Atos most likely. He's a certified cork soaker of the week. This dude is out here setting records for worst male friend ever.
He is the absolute worst. His whole, I'm just trying to protect you act. It's bullshit. He's not protecting Violet. He's actively sabotaging her, legitimately.
Mm-hmm.
The moment he touched her face and stole her memories without her consent, done. Fucking done. Expelled from the Fen group, blocked, reported, lifetime cork soaker status secured. Forever.
Side quest.
Side quest.
Who is worse, Dane or Tamlin from ACOTAR? And spoilers for ACOTAR, in case you haven't heard, in case you haven't read
you're still
that.
In love with Tamlin?
Yeah. So you can join back up when you hear side quest complete, I guess. I don't know.
All right. Who is worse, Dane or Tamlin? I'm going to say Dane.
Why is that?
That was an utter betrayal. He did it on purpose. He stole, without her consent, he stole her memories, knew what was about to happen, and was just like, I'm going to miss you, I think is what he said. I'm going to miss you. Excuse the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
He is, number one on my shit list. What he did by invading the mind, to me, is worse than what Tamlin did. What Tamlin did is still bad because he kept Feyre from basically living her life, kept her locked up. But Dane invaded her mind and then knew she was going to go out and possibly die with Xaden and was like, see ya.
No, I'm not having it.
Yeah,
not
done.
having it.
All right.
Side quest complete.
Side quest complete. This dude, like you said, he's out here violating boundaries left and right, acting like he's doing her a favor. Meanwhile, Jack is straight up trying to murder her, and somehow Dane is worse. At least Jack is honest about his villainy. Dane does all the shady shit and still acts like he's the good guy. I swear, if he gets a redemption arc, I will personally storm the gates of Basgiath myself.
I'll bring the torches. Speaking of manipulative people in power, let's talk about General Lilith Sorengale. This woman is playing 5D chess while everyone else is just trying to survive at tutorial level.
Oh, yeah, sneaky. This woman is out here puppeteering everything like she's got Navarre marionette strings. And you just know she and Dane's dad are basically co-presidents of the Shadowy Manipulators Club. This whole thing reeks of Lex and Lionel Luthor, which makes Lilith our general... No, that didn't work there. I can make it work, so I forgot about Dane's dad. Yep. All right, ready? And you just know she and Dane's dad are basically co-presidents of the Shadowy Manipulators Club. This whole thing reeks of Lex and Lionel Luthor, which makes Lilith our General Zod. Except she wouldn't just demand you kneel. She'd make you think that kneeling was your idea.
All right, let's move on to some characters who aren't terrible, starting with Rhiannon. Rhiannon?
Yes, Rhiannon. I think it's Rhiannon. So finally a real friend. So is this our Rhonda Weasley to our Harrietta Potter? And honestly, she's cool as hell. She doesn't fake a smile her entire way through Basgiath, and she doesn't backstab Violet.
She actually treats Violet like an equal in a world where everyone else is either trying to kill her or infantilize her. Rhiannon is just here to survive, thrive, and keep her bestie alive. I see what happened there. 10 out of 10. Protect her at all costs.
And speaking of protecting at all costs, let's talk Liam. This one hurts. His death really shattered me. He had golden retriever energy, the drop everything and charge it into battle for you type of friend. And of course, because the universe is fucking cruel, he's gone. First Dylan, now Liam. I need a break.
Aw, baby. And the worst part is that you knew this moment was going to destroy me. I cry at everything, but this was an emotional annihilation. The moment it happened, I had a full breakdown. And let's not forget Kath's grief, because if that didn't gut you, you have no soul. I will never be over this, actually. Probably never. I was beside myself. All right, let's move on to some characters who actually deserve screen time, starting with Riddick.
And I'm here for this one. I need more Riddick. And from what I hear, Onyx Storm is going to deliver, so we just need to power through Iron Flame and get to the good stuff. Of course, this is my guy. This is everybody's guy. He's got that effortlessly cool, smart-ass energy, the kind that makes him the guy you want in your corner and the one you know that'll keep things fun. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Yarros took some inspiration from Ryan Reynolds and Van Wilder, because that's exactly who Riddick reminds me of. And yeah, I know we're on the outs with Ryan these days, but let's be real. When Riddick was created, we all still loved him. And for the record, I don't hate Ryan.
Of course. And of course, Riddick is your guy as well. He's everyone's guy. He's quick-witted. He doesn't take anything too seriously, who somehow makes even near-death experiences fun. And honestly, I completely see the Ryan Reynolds in Van Wilder comparison. That was a good one. The same effortless charm, the perfect comedic timing, just with slightly higher chance of getting set on fire by a dragon. He's got the energy that makes him instantly likable, which is why I cannot wait for all of that extra Riddick content that we keep hearing about in Onyx Storm. Super excited. But first, yes, Iron Flame. We gotta fly through that. Pun absolutely intended. Now, let's talk Mira.
Yes, finally, a big sister who actually does her jam job. We're looking at you, Nesta. Ooh. Mira is a badass, plain and simple. She's strong, charismatic, and the kind of older sibling you want in your corner. She's the rare combination of big sister and seasoned warrior, someone who genuinely cares, but won't hesitate to drop the get your shit together talk when necessary.
And I get why you love characters like her. She's got that effortless, badass energy. Like she could walk into any situation, immediately take charge. If this were an action movie, she'd be the one showing up at the last second, flipping her hair and saying something devastatingly cool before saving the day. Very Black Widow style, I feel. And honestly, I think we need more of her too. I hope Onyx Storm and Iron Flame honestly deliver, because I'll always take more Mira content. More Mira.
Okay. More Mira.
More Mira.
Okay, so we've talked about the good. Now let's bring back the assholes. Jack fucking Barlow, another prick, Not as bad as Dane, though.
He is absolutely a prick. No argument there. But I love that even with his full-blown murder attempts, like overt, not covert, overt murder attempts, he still ranks below Dane on the official Scott scale of literary assholes. And honestly, I agree 100%. He was at least honest about being the worst. He's violent, he's ruthless, and he was openly trying to eliminate Violet. Zero pretenses, zero deception. He's the equivalent of a villain monologuing while tying someone to the train tracks.
Yes, perfect analogy.
But Dane, on the other hand, again, that man looked her in the eye, said goodbye, and still sent her straight to her death. And not only that, he looked at her memories, again, without her consent. It is all about consent. And then he used her memories against her? Nah, bro. Still, lifetime membership in the Cork Soaker Hall of Fame secured for Dane. Jack didn't even make it. All right, let's hit some of the underrated MVPs. Let's talk about Imogen and Sawyer.
Yeah, so Imogen is fucking fierce. At first, I didn't know if she was going to be friend or foe, but once she made it clear she was Team Xaden and Team Violet, I knew she was solid. She's one of those people you definitely want on your side in a fight, sharp, deadly, and not afraid to throw hands.
She is a powerhouse. She gives off, I have secrets you wouldn't even begin to understand. And honestly, I love that. I think she's going to be major in Iron Flame, and I cannot wait for that.
And then there's Sawyer, who is just a solid dude. No drama, no secret agenda, just a guy trying to survive Basgiath without getting stabbed in the back. And hey, he finally got his dragon. Good for him. We're so excited for you.
Oh, hey, we totally forgot someone. Dylan.
Yes. Our favorite short-lived character of all time. Gone too soon.
He was so nice. We all thought he was a solid ally for Violet. Maybe even a great friend.
And then, boom. Basgiath was like, nah.
Truly, he flew too close to the sun. Or in this case, too close to a very violent death.
Let's take a brief moment of silence for Dylan. And with how brief that silence was, how brief he was in the book. So a quick side quest, because we want to give Dylan the love and respect that he truly deserves. Because I have seen that on TikTok, Dylan is a very popular.
So popular.
It's like everybody wanted him to live in this next page.
Like, dude. Oh, all right then. But I want to talk about.
Man. I want to cosplay Dylan.
Aww.
Just like somehow cosplay me like falling off a parapet, like with a smile in my face.
You could get a balance beam because that's what you were imagining.
Oh my God.
Just carry a balance beam with you. Please tell people about that.
So real quick, let's talk about that. So we also saw on TikTok that there are very different types of readers. And so I cannot picture things. I cannot picture an entire world or an entire like bar scene or something like that in my head. It's weird. I can picture if they're at the table. I can picture a little table and almost like stick figures, but they almost, I don't know, they're like 2D. It's hard to explain. But so when we got to the parapet part, even though I knew it was like 200 feet up off the ground, for some reason, all I could picture was everybody walking on a balance beam. I'm like, it's only 2 feet. Oh, you'll be fine,
Dylan. Just
get up. Just 2 feet. Just get back up there. You're fine. But that's what I can picture. I can't picture the grand scale that I saw when I finally saw pictures. I was like, oh, yeah, that would hurt.
Oh, that'll probably kill you.
Yeah.
That's not just Dylan. A balance beam. But you could dress up as Dylan and carry a balance beam and be like, that was your interpretation of it.
Poor Dylan.
Oh, gosh.
God. He is definitely an MVP of this book.
Poor thing. And he was only there for a hot minute.
He was.
All right.
Side quest.
All right. Moving on. Because unlike Dylan, we don't have time to waste.
And finally, the real MVPs of the book, the whole reason why we start the series, the dragons. First up, and we are going to butcher these because we do know that these are Gaelic, and I'm still struggling to learn the Gaelic language, so I'm going to say Tarn or Tairn. He's our grumpy old man legend who might actually love Violet more than Xaden does.
Interesting theory. I appreciate the sarcasm and the attitude. The I'm too ancient for your nonsense kind of energy that he throws off. It's perfection. But let's not forget Indarna, who's basically a little baby dragon Fleetfoot with god tier powers.
Yes, her powers are absolutely game-breaking. Time-stopping? That's some final boss level shit. Right now, she's still a baby, but when she's fully grown, she's going to absolutely cause chaos.
Yes, she is. Hey, quick side quest.
Yes.
Violet got 2 dragons.
I'm not
freaking
shocked at that one.
awesome.
I saw that coming when she saved Andarna first, and then the black dragon showed up, and I was like, or Taryn showed up, and I was like, oh, she's going to get 2 dragons. She's going to be the only one with 2. And this is a trope, though. This is a trope where it's a fish out of water trope. She was supposed to be in the scribe quadrant, and so she's fish out of water. This is not her world, but yet now she's the most powerful, even though at first she was the weakest. Everyone had to help her learn how to fight.
Fly.
Right? She couldn't even climb on the damn dragon to begin with. So now she's got the most powerful abilities and all that stuff, and there's probably going to be a reason why she does. We're going to find out a reason, some secret reason, bloodline or something like that, where she's like the most powerful, or I don't know. But it's a trope, and I'm not angry at it.
You don't think it's just because of who she was and how she protected Andarna that she was...
Yes, I'm not saying that she didn't deserve the 2 dragons. What I'm saying is Rebecca used this as a trope to make the main character overpowered. That usually happens sometimes. Usually the main character becomes overpowered.
Okay.
In some way. And this was the way to get her 2 powers, and especially god tier powers, not at that. She has lightning, which is apparently god tier as well, along with time stopping that no one knows about yet.
That's pretty dope.
So those are pretty legit powers. Plus you got 2 dragons, 2 signets, so she's a little OP at the moment.
2 signets? Yeah, she's a little OP, but that's okay. Sounds like she might need that.
Oh, again, I'm not mad at it. What we've learned about the Venin at the end, she's going to need it. She's definitely going to need it.
They're all going to need it.
All right. Side quest complete. All right, let's move on to Sigale. Now, that is Xaden's dragon. She is the definition of graceful, but will absolutely end you. She's not just Xaden's dragon. She's his equal. And honestly, I think she's the one really running the show out of the whole group.
100%. Of course she is. Xaden might act like he's in charge, but we all know if Sigale ever said jump, he'd already be in midair asking, how high?
And with that, we have covered the good and the absolute fucking disasters of Basgiath. Any final thoughts?
Violet's circle is solid. I like it. Her enemies are terrible, though. But she's got dragons, and they're absolute legends, so that's awesome. I guess let's just see what Iron Flame does with all of these characters. I'm super excited to see. All right, so we've talked about the characters, but now we need to get into the world, because this isn't just your average fantasy kingdom with dragons. Navarre is a full-blown military-industrial complex on steroids.
Oh, yeah, this place breeds war like it's a national pastime. You've got Basgiath War College churning out dragon riders, healers, and scribes, each in their own little power hierarchy. And then you've got the barons on one side, full of creepy nightmare creatures, and Poramiel on the other, allegedly overrun with venin. This whole kingdom is built on train, fight, die, repeat.
And speaking of Basgiath, this is not your typical school setting, where the worst thing that happens is a bad grade. Nope, this place is cutthroat as hell. If you don't bond a dragon, you die. If you're too weak, you die. If your dragon decides you suck, you die. Basically, if you make it past graduation, you're either a genius, a psychopath, or both.
The Writers' Quadrant is like Hogwarts if Dumbledore just yeeted the first years off the astronomy tower to see who deserves to stay. And that's just before we even get into the magic system.
The magic system in this world isn't your typical wave a wand and call it a day situation. No, it comes directly from the dragons. And you don't even know what power you're going to get until it manifests. Which means, best case scenario, you get something cool like shadow manipulation and you can go be brooding over there. Worst case,
you get nothing, and then you're just a regular dude stuck at a war college where literally everyone can shoot lightning or control minds. Tough break, buddy.
Oh, poor thing. And then the dragons have their own hierarchy. Some are old and revered, and others are young and reckless. All of them could kill you on a whim. And what's wild is they supposedly have this rule about not meddling in human affairs, which is complete bullshit because Taryn is over here mentoring Violet like she's the chosen one.
Yeah, that whole we don't interfere thing lasted about 5 seconds before Taryn was like, this tiny chronically ill girl, yeah, I'm going to make her the most powerful cadet in history. Bro, you are absolutely meddling. And let's not forget, dragons won't bond with weak riders. So if you got chosen, that's a flex.
Chosen by 2. Weakling chosen by 2. Anyways, let's talk about the venin, because they are fucking terrifying. They're not just magic users, they're magic thieves. They don't get power from dragons. They literally siphon life from the world around them. And the more they take, the more monstrous they become. Ah.
Yeah, it's definitely giving Dementor meets Voldemort meets Eldritch Horror. And the worst part, Navarre's pretending that don't even exist. Excuse me. You're telling people the biggest existential threat to humanity is a myth while simultaneously waging a war against it?
That's classic government gaslighting if I've ever seen it. They've got everybody convinced that Poromiel is the enemy, but in reality, Poromiel is probably just over there fighting Venin for their lives, staying alive. Anyways, meanwhile, Navarre is hoarding all the information.
Poor goddamn Griffin Riders.
Navarre is hoarding all the information, rewriting history, and making sure no one asks too many questions.
Speaking of writing history, let's get into the actual war. Navarre's been fighting Poromiel for centuries, claiming it's the last line of defense against the Griffin Riders, but now we know that's probably bullshit because the more Violet uncovers, the clearer it is that Navarre's leaders are hiding something massive.
1000% they are, and we know this because Basgiath itself is shady as hell. The entire War College exists to keep producing perfect little soldiers, sending them off to fight in a war they don't even fully understand. The survival rate is grim as shit. Most writers don't make it past a few years if they even make it to graduation. It's not about winning. It's about keeping everyone in a constant state of war.
Because what's the best way to control an entire population? Make sure they're always afraid. Keep them so focused on a fake enemy that they never stop to question who the real enemy is. And I guarantee by the time we get to Iron Flame, Violet's going to start putting even more pieces together.
Ooh, and when she does, shit's going to hit the fan. Oh, enough about world and lore. No review is complete without our tinfoil hat theories.
Okay, let's put on our conspiracy cloaks because I have thoughts. First, Brennan Sorgale, alive. Why do you think?
He's a healer, right?
Okay.
So we know that about him. Why would you want to kill a healer? I'd obviously try to keep a healer alive regardless of who he's fighting. I don't know. That's a huge lie.
Well, he probably figured out the lie about the venin.
Oh, so he doesn't want to go back.
No. And also...
So you don't think he was forced into hiding. You think that he found out what was going on and decided to stay over there.
I think he faked his death. Because remember, the city that they just woke up at the very end of the book was supposed to be destroyed. That's where Xaden and his people are from, but it's alive and well. And Brennan's there.
That's right.
And remember, Xaden said that his people have been fighting the venin.
Okay. So then we're talking about the real enemy, which is actually the venin and the wyverns, right?
Yes.
So why the hell is Navarre hiding their existence?
So that one, I don't know. Usually I have a pretty good answer for these kind of things. Probably has to be something to do with the way magic works in their world, because the venin, they can draw magic on their own, right? Because they're super powerful.
But they don't need it. They're sucking it from the world around them.
Yeah, and that's what made them what they are, because they have overused magic and has turned them into what they are. But they are extremely powerful.
So that's how the venin were created? They overused magic?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, they siphoned in too much.
Okay, and it turned them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we only saw like a little bit of their fighting skills because it was just a few venin, but they still decimated like...
Yeah, so many of them.
Yeah, they're rough.
Okay.
Yeah, I got nothing for why. The only thing I can think of is why they are fighting the Griffin Riders is to force the Griffin Riders to fight the venin, because remember, they have that whole protection thing from the dragons around Navarre.
Yeah, but it's fading.
It is, exactly.
Is that why they don't tell them about the venin?
So the lie is going to come out eventually, because at least with that barrier, they were able to keep the lie, right?
Mm-hmm.
From all of the Navarrian people. But now that's coming down, they're not going to be able to keep that lie up, and they're going to have to face the truth that they are forcing the people of Poromiel, the Griffin Riders, to fight the venin on their own.
Real quick, how do they siphon actual powers? Like, how do the dragons get powers? What I'm asking is, does it come from the earth? And is it because the venin are taking the magic from the earth that everyone's losing power, which is why the dome is shrinking?
That's a good question.
Okay.
I think they did explain in the book how the venin truly draw their power. I can't remember off the top of my head. Probably should have went back and looked at it, to be honest, which we will before we read Iron Flame. But I think that could be part of it, is they're siphoning magic and it's just fading, maybe.
Maybe the dragons aren't able to access as much magic because the Venin are stealing all of the magic from everywhere, which is where the dragons draw it from.
Well, remember, the dragons keep having secret talks at the Empyrean, so we don't know what those talks are about right now.
Nope.
So that could be what they're talking about, is all this stuff. So I think we're going to get a lot of answers in Iron Flame. I think this was more of a setup book.
That's what it seems like, for sure. It seems like Iron Flame's about to be just nonstop fighting Venin, is what it sounds like.
I mean, usually book 2 with these kinds are like that, because now we're established with the world of Navarre and Basgiath College, and
we know
dragon riding.
Some people.
And we got some people, and now shit has shifted. So I think we're gonna start expanding our world, which is good for me, because I don't like to stay in one spot in one book. So
you're gonna love getting out of the War College, for sure.
Definitely excited to get out of that. So are there any other tinfoil hat theories you can think of before we dive into Iron Flame?
Not that I can think of.
So I think those are our biggest ones. Like, why is Brennan still alive? Which I think we answered. He found out the truth, and now he's going to work with the rebels.
Yep.
The Venin, we don't know how they're truly drawing power. We know that they're dangerous. We just don't know how dangerous them and their wyverns are. And we also talked about the Griffin Riders and the secret that Navarre and Lilith Sorrengail are keeping, why they're fighting the Griffin Riders, even though the Griffin Riders are good guys as well, because they're fighting the Venin.
Yeah, so if they're lying about that, like, what else are they lying about? I'm hoping we're just going to get all kinds of answers in Iron Flame.
So, are we ready to talk about some of our favorite moments from Fourth Wing? Last but not least, let's talk about our favorite moments. Okay, look. We can pretend we're serious reviewers for 5 minutes, but I'm just going to say it. That sex scene was iconic. It wasn't just hot. It was actually plot relevant, character driven, and literally sparked a power surge.
Literally. They basically turned that room into a magical hazard zone between her lightning and his shadows. It's a miracle they didn't blow the entire building off of the map. Safety protocols at Basgiath? Non-existent.
OSHA violations everywhere, but what I loved is that it actually made sense. It wasn't just spice for spice's sakes. It said something about how their powers are linked, how intense their bond is, and also, it was hot.
All right, side quest activated.
Do it.
All right, so I absolutely enjoyed watching you read this sex scene because I happened to have a perfect straight-on view of you as you were trying to figure out how all of that was possibly working or how they were manipulating their bodies. What was it, across the desk or something like that?
It was just a hilarious sex scene because they were trying to bang on the desk and she was like, the desk is uncomfortable. We can't figure out how to do it. So I'm like, how are they bending their bodies? I was not expecting when they orgasm their powers to manifest. I just cracked up and lost my shit laughing. I was like, this is brilliant. This is so funny right now.
I believe you burst out with, what?
Yeah. I had fun with the Akatar sex scenes and stuff, but they were just sex scenes, whatever. But this was hilarious and just well done. And I don't know, I had fun. It was just fun. It was a fun scene.
I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot.
And I am hoping beyond hope that when we get this scene in the series, they don't fuck this up because it needs to have a little bit of comedy with it. It has to. Because the way they couldn't figure out the angles and again, the orgasms with the shadows and the lightning. Come on now. As soon as you orgasm, you got to look outside and be like, oh my God.
This is why it's got to be animated. It's got to be an animated.
No, this one will work live action, I think.
You think so?
Yes, because it all depends on the FX.
Yeah.
With the dragons. If you fuck up the dragons, you fuck up the whole story. But again, basically, you already have Hogwarts. Just use fucking Hogwarts for Basgiath College. It's not that hard.
That's fair.
Yeah. So and again, they basically stay in one place. They don't really travel around the world. Fourth Wing will work live action. Akatar just had very intricate worlds, like the Dawn Court.
Oh, all the different courts.
Yeah, it's just so beautiful and massive. It just would work better in animated fashion because it would just be so hard to bring those fantastical realms in the real world where the world of Navarre and stuff sounds a lot more real. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Not as fantastical. It just sounds like a war college. They're fighting Griffin Rider, whatever, but it still
they
sounds like a
basically need a castle
world.
On a hill.
Yes. There's no fantastical Dawn Court buildings that are so intricate that it would cost trillions of dollars to build one of these castles, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I totally get it. That makes sense.
Yeah, this will work live action easily.
Okay.
Easily. All right, so you ready to close off this side quest?
Yes, let's close off this side quest.
Let's do it.
All right. I think it earned the spice. I respect that. Speaking of earning things, can we talk about Violet for a second? Our girl came in physically fragile, always broken, everything, had that healing balm on her at all times, but she was emotionally armored, and she just kept adapting over and over again, like a pro.
You mean evolve like a Pokemon under extreme stress?
Exactly. That's exactly what I mean. She's out here forming alliances on day one with a shoe. The moment on the parapet with Rhiannon.
Yep, I remember that part.
That was subtle. That was powerful. I see you. I'd rather not watch you splatter. Let me give you one of my shoes. We're in this together. Like friends for life.
She's calculating and compassionate, which is rare in a setting that's basically welcome to orientation, try not to die.
Honestly, the fact that she kept questioning everything, that's the FMC energy that I really live for. She's like, yeah, sure, I want to join the war college, but actually, why are we at war? Which is also always my question. Why are we at war?
Right, and that's where this twisty shit comes in. I knew that the Venant and Wyvern thing was real once I heard about them, and I was screaming the pages like, they're lying to you, and then the war with Paramiel, straight up smoke screens. I knew that was obvious.
Okay, let's talk about Brennan, though. He's alive. That one got me.
Yeah, that one definitely got me too. I was not expecting that one.
I knew something shady was going on, but I did not expect Ghost Brother to come walking back in. Surprise, bitch!
Yeah, Navarre's got secrets stacked on top of secrets. Lilith Storingale, I don't trust her, not even a little bit.
Nope. Meanwhile, the dragons are also keeping secrets from each other, keeping secrets from their humans. What the hell kind of interspecies NDA did they all sign?
Right. Taryn's out here like, you'll understand when you're older, while Violet's just trying not to get yeeted off a cliff. Also, Taryn, absolute MVP, grumpy old man with a heart of fire. I love him.
And Indarna, that tiny golden chaos queen, is out here freezing time like it's no big deal. And Violet just casually double bonds, of course.
Mm-hmm.
That moment gave me chills. I loved it so much. I know we'd heard it on TikTok in the audio several times, but it was still super exciting to read it. The other cadets were probably clutching their pearls, though.
Zayden was 100% like, yep, that's my girl. Meanwhile, Dane would have filed a complaint with the dean because he didn't get a special dragon.
Honestly, though, the whole magic system, I love that it's just one giant gamble. Here's your dragon. Hope you don't explode.
Or overhear something shady and get yourself executed. R.I.P. to that one guy with the mind speech. That was brutal as hell.
Extremely. Yarros really said, magic isn't a blessing, it's a liability. I'm here for it.
So to summarize, spicy magic, sentient dragons with secrets, and a twist ending that had me clutching the book like it owed me money. What more could you want?
Just answers. And maybe a fireproof bedroom for those two. Safety first, people. Safety first. All right. I think we've emotionally recovered from the Brennan reveal. Barely. And we've officially covered everything from dragon politics to bedroom pyrotechnics.
And if you're still with us after all of that, congratulations. You're either fully obsessed or slightly unhinged. Either way, welcome to the club.
But before we step out of spoiler territory and into our official ratings, there's one more thing we have to do.
That's right. It's time for Signet Roulette. Spin the magical chaos wheel and pray you don't end up with spontaneous combustion.
Or worse, Dane's ability. Let's go. All right, it's time for our favorite unhinged game that no one asked for, but we're doing anyway.
Signet Roulette, because in the world of Navarre, you don't get to choose your magical power. You just wake up one day and hope it's not like extreme flatulence.
Here's how it works. We each threw 10 random signets into a bowl. 5 badass ones, 5 absolutely ridiculous, almost useless ones. And now we're going to draw them at random.
Whatever we pull, we've got to explain exactly how we would use that power in battle. No takebacks, no shame, just magical chaos.
And yes, we're judging each other the entire time. Let the mayhem begin.
And just so everyone knows, I haven't looked at hers. She hasn't looked at mine. This is completely random. You ready, babe? You want to go first?
Sure. I'll go first. He's actually bringing the bowl over here. All right. Okay. I'm not looking yet. Holding it here.
Okay. What did you get?
All right. Okay.
What'd you get?
All right. Okay. Emergency boy band formation.
Emergency boy band formation. Okay. So that power says once per day, you and 3 random people within 100 feet break into a coordinated boy band performance, including choreography. So how would you use that in war? And who would you...
To distract everyone.
And do you have 3 random people in mind that you would have dance with you?
I mean, it sounds like it'd just be the closest people to me, but I would have Riddick.
Oh, good.
Clearly, I would have Riddick.
He'd be the one doing the choreography. You kidding me?
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. Imogen.
Yeah, Imogen.
I think Imogen would be a good one.
Yeah, Imogen. Sawyer, maybe? Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe Sawyer would be... Yeah, probably Sawyer. So Sawyer, Riddick, and Imogen would be your boy band, huh?
Yep, that would be my boy band.
Nice.
And we're just there to distract you. Distract you with our probably tightly spiral permed hair and awesome.
So you're a distraction while the rest of your unit comes in. Oh, very good. Yes. Okay.
That's how I would use that power.
Very good. Very good.
All right. Are you ready to draw one?
All right. I'm so scared.
Okay.
All right.
What did you get?
So this one is mine as well.
Oh.
Unfortunately. But you're going to enjoy this one.
Okay.
You are really going to enjoy this one. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Sweat to lube conversion. Yes.
But you're so sweaty.
Hold on. All your sweat becomes ultra lubricant, slippery as hell. You're basically a human slip and slide.
I'm just trying to imagine you after your runs in the woods. You're not allowed to ride in my car if you have that. No, you're not allowed to ride in my car. If that's your signet, you can't ride in my car.
Okay, well, how would I help in battle? I mean, I'd be slippery. I mean, everyone would be slippering over I would just run and become very sweaty because the lubricant they would all slip and fall.
But what about archers? What are the archers going to do? I mean, the archers are arrows and projectiles.
Yeah, just put me on the front lines and make me sweat. And I'm just lubing all over the place.
Just lubing all over the place. Oh, gosh. All right, my turn. I want another signet.
All right, round 2. What'd you get?
I got one of mine.
Nice. What is it?
And I absolutely love this power.
Oh, God. Is this the one you wanted? No.
But this one's great. All right. So it is called Bread Finder. I can always sense the nearest bakery. Literally just a living Yelp review. Hope your battlefield has croissants. So, Bread Finder. I would use it to feed everyone.
There you go.
Duh.
If we can't find food.
Yeah, we're done.
Just follow your nose, right?
Yeah, just follow my nose.
There you go, Toucan Sam.
To the bakery.
Just leading us to the bakery. Hey, you know how I feel about bread and croissants and all that stuff. I'm down. I will follow you to the bakery.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not mad about this power at all. Like I said, lackluster. I mean, that's kind of lackluster.
Yeah,
I guess not really. All right, I'm gonna come do you.
Okay. All right. I am deathly afraid of this one. Probably. Okay, this is one of yours.
Oh, good. What is it?
Inconvenient invisibility.
Okay.
So what, am I like in public just randomly getting naked?
Nope.
Or randomly turn invisible?
Nope. You ready for this?
Okay, let's hear it.
You can go invisible, but only when no one is looking. It's stealthy in theory, but in practice, you're still getting stabbed. So you have inconvenient invisibility.
As long as nobody can see me.
As long as no one is looking.
As long as no one's in my direct line of sight, basically. Okay. But does that include cameras?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know if they had cameras back then.
You can go invisible, but only when... What if you hide behind a shield or something?
So, as long as... What?
Right? Be very inconvenient.
Yeah, that's extremely inconvenient invisibility.
It is.
I mean, I would just be a distraction then. I would just... Because people would be like, oh, shit. He just popped up out of nowhere. And then I'd be distracted. I would be the sacrifice. I guess. So sad.
Oh, you were sacrificed in your...
I don't know what else to do with that one.
No.
Oh my God. It's rough. All right. Are you ready for another one?
I am. Let's do this.
All right. Round 3. What'd you get?
All right. Dramatic wind summon.
Dramatic wind summon.
Yeah, this one's yours. That's your handwriting.
Yeah. Okay. You ready?
Yes.
All right. So with dramatic wind summon, you can summon a perfectly timed gust of wind, but only for dramatic effect. Cloak flares, hair tosses, ominous dust swirls.
Yes, I love it. You had to know that I would love that. And I think that is awesome because one of mine had something to do with that too. Dramatic wind. Your hair and cloak are always fluttering like you're in a storm, even indoors. No, the battle use, there is none, except looking fabulous while you're being stabbed. The downside is everyone knows where you are. You can't sneak. You're essentially a walking stage production.
Now, here's my question. What if you're like on your dragon and you start singing and belting out like Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey, you know, that whole dramatic thing that you see on TikTok? What if that gust of wind would help you with the dragon, with his wing, go faster, you know? You just start singing Mariah Carey. You're like, oh, we need to go faster. I got you, fam.
I feel like it's just a personal wind. And it's like in
just for your hair.
In this general vicinity.
Yeah, good luck with that, babe.
Hey,
Hey, you can put on a performance, though. You'll put on a major performance with the wind.
We have talked so many times about Selena walking in with her dramatic cape flowing. I am 100% behind this power.
I'm going to get you a cape, and we are going to make sure you have this power, and we will put this everywhere.
I'll just have one of those small personal fans. Mm-hmm. I love it. All right. Are you ready to do another one?
I'm ready. All right.
All right.
Ready?
Yep. What'd you get?
All right. Oh, God. Pocket portal.
You can open a tiny portal to summon anything you've touched in the last 24 hours. It's very handy for lost keys, daggers, or that snack that you regret not buying.
Ooh, this is a very useful one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can summon anything in my pocket. So it has to be pocket sized. So I can't like say touch the dragon. The dragon just comes out of my pocket.
It sounds like pocket just means small.
Small.
Okay. So anything you've
like
touched.
My car keys. So if I lost my car keys, I could be like, boom, there's my car keys.
Or your wallet, or your phone.
I don't think dragons need car keys.
When it's hiding underneath the bread.
Oh, what about a knife?
That's
a knife in a pocket, right?
Yeah.
That could come in handy.
So I think the word pocket is tripping you out. It's not supposed to go in your pocket. It's just small, a tiny
just
portal.
A small portal.
Yeah, just a pocket size portal is kind of how I was taking it.
If I ever get captured, I can just out of a portal like behind my back and like get whatever.
Here's
ropes.
These handcuff keys that you had to have touched it in the last 24 hours.
Well, if I'm going to go, as long as I touch something within 24 hours, that's easy. If I know I'm going to go off to war, I'm going to touch like fucking just everything. I'm just going to my handprints, my germs and handprints are going to be on fucking everything. If I need a goddamn, you
just walk straight
tampon,
through the
armory. Like, you need a tampon? I got you, fam. I touched one earlier. Here's one. Like, you forgot your tampons today? Bam, gotcha.
All right.
No, pocket portal would be fantastic. Isn't that what your purses are, basically? You guys can summon all kinds of shit out of your purses. It's basically a pocket portal.
I mean, essentially, yeah. It is, really.
Yeah, so I've seen the size of some of these purses and what you guys fit in that shit. That is a like portal to the unknown world.
It's a Mary Poppins bag.
I'm terrified of your purses.
You should be. All right. What do you think? I like our signets.
I like them too. I think this is a good one. We're definitely going to do this one again when we do our Iron Flame and Onyx Storm review. We'll have some more signets ready for you.
Maybe on Wednesday for our live, we should have people, we'll draw for them.
Oh, yeah.
And they can play. That'd be kind of fun, right?
There you go.
If they want to.
Let us draw your signet and you got to explain how you would use it. There you go. So join us on lives and we can do a signet segment.
Yeah.
Try saying that 5 times fast. Signet segment. I did it.
You did it. Good job.
Are we ready to move on to our final review of Fourth Wing?
I am. Let's do it. All right, let's do it. It's time for our official rating because judging fictional people and their questionable choices is our favorite sport.
We're talking spice, stakes, and sheer emotional damage, the Holy Trinity.
But before we get into it, you're probably going to notice something. Scott and I do not rate books the same way, like at all.
It's true. We exist on 2 completely different planes of book rating existence.
I like to use a 3-tier fantasy rating system. It's vibes-based, neurodivergent friendly, and let's be honest, it's really the only thing that my ADHD brain can actually handle without spiraling into a total rating crisis.
Meanwhile, I've got a system.
He says a system, like it's a spreadsheet coded in ancient Elvish, which it might be, actually.
Hey, I like the nuance. I need the data, the math, the precision. 5 stars with quarter-point increments. Thank you very much.
Right, because nothing says inner peace like asking yourself, is a book 3.75 or a 4.25 at midnight on a Tuesday?
Hey, you joke, but that decimal matters.
Anyway, here's how my rating system is going to work. For the rest of us who rate with our hearts and don't need a calculator, I'm going to rate Summon It. It's book magic, no notes. I'd swear a blood oath on it. Read at your own peril. It might hit, it might miss. It's a choose your own adventure kind of thing. Maybe it will work, maybe it won't. And then off with its head. It's not for me, but if it's your kingdom, rule it. Okay? No, I will not yuck your yum.
And if you're wondering what a 3.25 means on my scale, don't ask. I can't explain it. It's just a feeling, but like a data-driven one.
Exactly. So when our ratings don't line up, don't panic. One of us is just vibes. The other is stats. Together, we're chaos and balance, or just chaos. So for me, this book is Summon It, of course, immediately. I don't care what you're reading right now. Drop it. Toss it in the nearest river. Report to the dragons. Fourth Wing is not here to hold your hand or ease you in with 10 chapters of vibes. No, ma'am. It grabs you by the collar, hurls you into the sky on the back of a very temperamental dragon, and whispers, keep up or die trying. If you're looking for cozy fantasy with lovingly detailed moss, this ain't it. This is full throttle, pulse pounding, page-devouring chaos, and I loved every single second of it. Let's talk Violet Soaringale. She's sharp, underestimated, and absolutely not here to play nice. She's got chronic illness rep and knives, which frankly should be a genre at this point, I think. But the real magic is the people. We've got snappy banter, tangled loyalties, and an enemies to lovers arc so well executed, I found myself whispering, "Oh no," at 2 a.m., like I was being haunted by my own emotional investment. The writing is fast, direct, fluff-free, no wasted words, just constant tension. Political, physical, and yes, romantic. The stakes are high. The spice is earned. Love it. Bring water or wine. Honestly, maybe both. Hydrate and emotionally support yourself. Self-care. If you're into dragons, danger, morally gray hotties with devastating backstories, and characters who are just as stubborn as they are emotionally constipated, Fourth Wing is calling your name like a battle cry. So my verdict is summon it. No notes, 12 out of 10, emotional damage. It's worth every scorched page. And yes, this one demands discussion. Come scream about it with us in our book club. You know, we're going to need a group therapy session after this.
Very well said. Now, is this book going to win literary awards or be studied alongside Charles Dickens? No, but it is going to be one of the most fun reading experiences you'll ever have. Absolutely. I liken it to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's got deeper meaning for those who want to look for it, but if you're just here for a wild ride with action, romance, and high stakes, this book does deliver. Rebecca Yarros does a great job blending intense action with romance, keeping the story moving at a solid pace without whiplash. The romance is actually more subtle than I expected, but when things heat up, it is fun. I enjoyed those moments and they fit very well within the story. The only thing keeping me from giving it a perfect score, I hate sitting around. Now I get it, this is book one. The setting makes sense because it's about her journey to becoming a dragon rider, but we didn't get much actual traveling until later in the book, and that's just my personal gripe. That said, Fourth Wing hits all my other criteria. Characters, engaging as hell. Even the villains are fun to hate. Everyone will have a different favorite, which I love because not all of us vibe with the main characters. Magic system, super intriguing. I'm dying to see more in future books. Writing style, accessible but not dumbed down. It is easy for a new fantasy reader to dive in while still having enough depth for those who are already deep in the genre. Bottom line, this book is a blast. Whether you are here for the dragons, the romance, the action, or all the above, Fourth Wing lives up to the hype. My final rating is 4.75 dragons, near perfect storytelling sorcery. Move this book up to your next read if you haven't read it already.
Woo! And there you have it. Fourth Wing officially earns its wings. Or, you know, burns the damn scale down. Either way, we're here for it.
Flames, feelings, and feral choices, just the way we like it.
All right. Well, that wraps up our rating. Thanks for joining us for this special episode of Booked for Two.
Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review to help other book lovers find the show.
Follow us on socials at Booked for Two Podcast for behind-the-scenes content, updates, and sneak peeks. We'll also post next week's chapters every Sunday, so you can read along.
Join us for our live Q&A every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central on YouTube and TikTok. This week's question, which signet would we both have?
Ooh, and mark your calendars. Next Thursday is the premiere for Assassin's Blade. Be sure you have your book, Kindle, or audiobook ready to go.
And finally, don't forget to grab your stickers and bookmarks at bookedfor2.com.
Until next time, keep turning the page.